interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Yo, it's Remember the Show. Slick with the flows, where the sparring can go. Who's gonna be on, man, you never will know. Guess you better tune in, cause we live from Chicago. Belal Muhammad, that's the king of the tweets. Jason Anik looks like John, step his hands to his feet. Every Thursday, we gon' give you a treat. It's Remember the Show, hit play and repeat. And retweet, and retweet, and retweet. And retweet, it's Remember the Show, hit play and repeat.
Oh yeah, episode 51. Remember the Show. It's our first episode of 2022. We appreciate y'all being with us. Jason Anik, joined as always by the number 5 ranked welterweight in the universe, Belal. Remember the name, Muhammad. Always feels so good saying that. Good to see you. How you doing, man?
Happy New Year, my brother. Yeah, we started last year unranked. Now we're number 5 starting this year. So next year we're gonna have the belt on my shoulder. We're gonna start out 2023 with that on my shoulder.
I love it. Well, you know, we're going to jump right in. Obviously, we both cannot wait for Ultimate Fighting Championship fights taking place this weekend, 2 days from now, because it's been way too long. Hasn't been since you fought December 18th. It's nuts. But anyway, talking about the belt over your shoulder, let's jump right into the welterweight division. So, hate to say it, but Dana White said today, Leon Edwards, 100% next up for the belt. So, hey, at least we'll move it forward. But what were your thoughts upon hearing that particular news bit?
I mean, if I say anything about it, I'm bitter. I'm bitter bully. But looking at the fights, I'm sitting there like, man, this guy hasn't beaten a ranked opponent in 2 years. So why is he getting the title shot? Obviously, he has a long streak. Obviously, he's from London, even though nobody there likes him really. So he doesn't have a really big following. So I don't know why they're really pushing it like that. Maybe he owes him something. Maybe he has a video of Dana doing something. I don't know. But Leon got something going on. But I'm just happy that the pieces are finally coming into place with the division. We just saw with Masvidal and Kobe getting booked, these two getting booked. So now I just can't wait to get myself booked.
Yeah, so go right there. So Masvidal, Covington. I mean, obviously, as we've talked about in the past, we just like it playing out, and everything was sort of up in the air 6 weeks ago when we were talking. So yeah, Masvidal, Covington. Your initial thoughts on hearing that one getting booked?
I mean, I thought it was going to happen. I knew it was going to be one of those, with all the drama back and forth between them two, and then the past. Honestly, stylistic wise, I don't think that. I think Masvidal has a chance. Masvidal has very good takedown defense, very good at getting up. He has knockout power. I just don't know how much he still wants it. When you lose the title twice, actually both of them lost to the champ twice. It's like, you always fight to be a champion. And you know that I just lost to the champ twice. There's a good chance I'm not gonna get a third chance against him. And because he beat both of them pretty handily. So it's like, I wonder how motivated each one of them are. I know they really hate each other, but I'm wondering if it's like Masvidal, he's getting big money. Kobe talks like he is, but I really don't think he's not. So I wonder how hard Masvidal is gonna push this camp or train for this camp, because it's kind of short. It's not like not like they're getting a long camp. They're just They really booked this one pretty quick. I think they needed a big pay-per-view name, and Masvidal is one of those guys that could run a pay-per-view by himself.
So you like to stay active, certainly, and obviously the names out there: Burns at 2, Luke at 4, Muhammad at 5, Chimaev at 11. Certainly there are things you're going to disclose here, things you may not. But for you, in terms of a timetable, do you have any time you would like to get in there, or are you pretty open-minded?
Yeah, honestly, I want to get in definitely by March or early April. Brahimaj is going to be in April, so I don't want to fight during that. I trained and fought during that a couple times, and being number 5, now I got to be a lot more smarter with it, where I don't have to take that chance of having a fight during it, because I earned that spot to not have to. Before I was like, I'll do it. It makes you tougher, it makes you stronger, but it's like now I have a spot to protect. So now it's like, all right, we have a lot of time. There's a lot of guys with no fights before that, so we could get something booked before April 2nd or April 3rd.
You must have really enjoyed the last month being ranked number 5. I mean, I've really enjoyed that you've been number 5 just when it's popped in my head. Oh, yeah, he's number, same way for Juliana Pena, how it's got to have been an enjoyable little stretch for her being champion of the world over the holiday season into the new year,
Yeah,
Kind
it's
of a
always
nice
good when
few
you get
weeks.
something in right before the New Year's and right before the holidays, because that's when you're going to see family, and it's always awkward when you lose a fight and like you have family members that don't even watch sports, but they don't know what to say to you, or they'll have some that don't even understand sports, and they'll ask you like, "Oh, did that hurt? Did you get what happened? Like what went wrong?" Or you had the ones that secretly are happy that you lost, and they're like, "Well, at least you did this with at least you made it to this point." Or you made it here, and you got nothing to knock yourself on. It's like, all right, and then you get all the people that now that you win, they all want to be your friends. Everybody's your cousin. Everybody, oh yeah, I know that kid my whole life, and I knew he was going to do it his whole life. Because that's the thing. When it comes to fight week, you'll get all them calls from people that you haven't talked to in months and or even like years, where they're like, oh hey, I see that you're fighting soon, like, so blah blah blah, and you're like, why are you calling me today? Like now you want to mess with me? Now you want to FaceTime me?
It's unbelievable. And the people that really know you're trying to make sure we don't do certain things. You know what I mean? Like right? Like I think at one point you said to me, like, yeah, like during fight week, like send me pictures of sweets. You know what I mean? That's what I like. Right. So I think I sent you a picture of donuts. I think I stole it from Monique. But anyway, it's you have to know what to do. You don't want to be talked about the gambling line. You don't want to be asking you about what time the fight is, right?
And especially when you're fighting a guy like Wonderboy, it's everybody's like, oh, did you train for this? Watch this. And everybody's the coach. And then it's like after the fight, even to this day, where you have all you did was wrestle him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm
really?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I
won
30-25. You don't get a 30-25 by just hugging somebody. So you ground upon somebody, you beat somebody better than anybody else. I'm like, it's cool. You're not gonna impress everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So, as I'm very excited for this weekend's card, but as I was sort of looking ahead, and obviously there are big fights happening in March, but I got to touch on what's happening, in middleweight division about a month from now. Adesanya Whitaker. I might be as excited for this fight as I was for Chandler Gaethje. I mean, this fight, I can't wait for this one, man.
Yeah, I know. When we were sitting there looking at it, I was like, we have 4 weeks off, so I'm sitting there looking at the fights that are coming up, and I'm like, a lot of them are rematches. You got Peter Yan against Aljamain, and then you got these two, and then a lot of people are like, oh, all these champions are fighting rematches. But I'm looking at this fight, and I'm like, I think this fight could come out way different. Whitaker, he's fought the best of the best. He built his way back up to fight for the title, and he's earned his spot. When you look at guys that get rematches, it's like, all right, Masvidal fought Usman back to back. He didn't earn that one. Kobe beat Woodley one fight. He didn't earn that rematch. Yep. And then they went in there, they lost. Like Whitaker, he went to 3 guys, 3 of the best in the division, and he earned his right to get this title shot again.
Loud and clear. Great point. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm glad I brought it up. By the way, Bob Whitaker, great follow on Instagram. He had one post recently where he was talking through one of his sequences. I should have pulled it up exactly, but he's talking shit to his opponent, watching his work back. It was great.
Really?
Yeah.
I was about to say he's one of the nicest guys. I gotta watch this.
Yeah, we'll find that. But so just quickly, episode 50, bringing in on Remember the Show, Kayla Harrison, which was a couple weeks ago, bringing in the new year. How about Kayla Harrison singing on our show, right? This girl, okay, she's an amazing star, and certainly maybe not on everyone's radar, but will continue to be. And so I'm very interested to see what she does in terms of her free agency and where she goes. And obviously I know there are financial considerations. I know there are weight class considerations, but I want to ask you, what do you think she's going to do?
What do I think she's going to do?
Yeah.
Or what do I think she should do?
Both.
As a fan, as a fight fan, I want to see her in the UFC, obviously. Like there's some fun fights she can make. Like even her against Juliana, I think just the build up to that fight would be good because they're both like good talkers. They're both trash talkers, and they'll play with it. And like even when you see them going back and forth, there's nothing heinous about it or anything like that, or it's not fake. I think they're both just very competitive. When we even had them on the show,
Agreed.
You could tell how competitive Kayla was. Like, oh, I lost. I want a rematch. I want this, this, and this. So I think that'll just be fun. But if I'm Kayla, it's like I'm making $5 million a year, and I'm walking through everybody at PFL. So it's like they've built me up. They've started me from the bottom. They're trying to build up the division. They're trying to bring in big names. I'm the face of PFL right now. Obviously, if I come to the UFC, there's a million other big names out here that are the faces of the UFC. So it's like I'm the big dog right now at PFL. So why do I want to go somewhere else and then maybe make the same amount of money?
So I hear you on that. And like a part of me, and I asked John this, and obviously he wasn't going to say much to me, but you come to the big show, the opportunities for her star to, I mean, look at Conor McGregor, I mean, I'm not trying to, but I think the opportunities of the big show are significant. So Cody, you got that Bob Whitaker post here?
Oh, got you there, mate. in this. Oh, I might be able to get out of here. Come on, ref. Finish it. End the ref. Stop it. Yeah, you beauty. How good, Z. Home in time for dinner. Hey, Dad, did you see that? Did you see that, Dad? I told you I'd get him.
Well, I mean, he stole that idea from me, but I'm not gonna come at him right now. What are you thinking in a fight? It's all good, Robert. All you got to do is come on the show. Come on, remember the show, and we'll call it even. I won't sue you.
Have you asked him yet, by the way?
I mean, I slid in his DMs. Yeah, he acts like he's a busy guy. Doesn't respond. It's all good.
I hear you. Well,
plenty of time to play Doom, though. Plays Twitch all the time. Can't answer bullies in DMs. At least Derek Lewis is out there helping people in charity and stuff,
No, Derek Lewis made me so mad because I'm like, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna keep freaking flooding his DM. I'm like, what's the weather? Hey, you see the Saints game? You see this? Right. And then he responded to every single one of those except for the, yo, could you come on the show this Thursday? Yeah, it's cold outside. No, I'm wearing a jacket. And I was like, you loser.
I love it. So, dude, I have to ask you one thing because I was hearing people talk about Charles Oliveira and how blind he is and how blind I am. And, dude, it drives me insane. And this conversation came up how you're not allowed to get LASIK. You're not allowed to see in a professional sport. I can't get over it. I just can't get over it. Do you have any thoughts on that? I don't get it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. And I'm like, with Oliveira, it's crazy because you can just tell that with how thick his glasses are, obviously there's something there. And for me, I'm a guy that wears contacts, wears glasses, and it's like it makes a huge difference when I'm even at practice. And like when you're doing without glasses on, it's like you have to see these things. You see other little things. You see different. You get a different feel for the distance. And like Lewis Taylor, like coach, after he won PFL. After he won PFL, he went and got LASIK done. After he won $1 million, he was going to go back to second season. But the reason he didn't go to second season is because they said, "Oh, you got LASIK done." No, you weren't supposed to get LASIK done. You can't fight in New York. And he's like, "Wait, what? Seriously?" They're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, all right. Well, thanks for the $1 million. I'm done." But right. Yeah, it was crazy how they like it makes no sense at all. They'd rather you be blind in there than have vision.
Right. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's too big an issue for too many people for it not to, LASIK changed my life, right? Every day I'm hazing John about his contacts and his glasses, going on the road with all that, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I just don't understand how you can't see competing in a professional
It gets so
sport.
annoying when you have the contact solution, then you lose the case, and then you're laying in bed, you want to go to sleep, but then you have to get up and take your contacts off. That all pisses me off so much. I want to get LASIK so bad. But yeah, like you said, Oliveira, I don't know. I think that it may give him some extra sort of strength. We don't see, when they say you lose one sense, your other senses get a lot stronger.
I hear you.
With him, it could be that because I feel like this guy's so good. I was like, imagine if he could see how much better he'll be.
I hear you. So,
or worse, maybe worse.
Or worse.
Daredevil effect. You never know.
So I'm a big fan of the NFL, the NBA. Certainly both those seasons have been busy, but man, have I missed the UFC. It's nuts, man. And I'm even surprised that I'm saying this. It wasn't always like that for me. I cannot fucking wait. Excuse my language. And I'm sure I speak for a lot of people when we're all itching. I'm sure you're itching for 2 nights from tonight.
Yeah. It's like, you're sitting there on the weekend. You're like, man, what do I do? I literally forget what day it is when it's not fight week. When it's fight week, I'll be like, all right, well, the fights are in 2 days or the fights are in 3 days. So I know today's freaking Wednesday or Thursday, and I was like, oh yeah, only 2 days to the fight or 1 day to the fight. Now I'm like, man, today's Tuesday? Today's Monday? It's like you forget what day it is. It's boring. You got nothing to do, and me and Jared are like on FaceTime calls. We have nothing else to talk about. We're like, hey,
that's all right.
You want to buy stocks?
Go to the stairs. Just go to the stairs.
I buy Jared's clothes. I don't know what to do. I got nothing to do but work out. So it's like it's boring.
Like, no.
What's that, Cody?
He's like, you want to watch The Sopranos? And you're like, no.
Yeah, I literally told my brother, I'm like, yo, let me get do you have any the new Xboxes? And he's like, dude, you bought a PS5, you don't even play it. I was like, I don't know, but maybe I'll play the Xbox because I was like just so bored at home. I was like, I need to do something.
I get it, man. So let's get to the Bicks. UFC Vegas 46. Let's go. UFC Fight Night. So, dude, so I love Aaron Bronstetter. He puts out these tweets with all the main card start times. That dude's the man. Just a wealth of knowledge and information. Dude's sharp as anything. But anyway, I love it. So anyway, he has these tweets that he pushes out. You get the start time of all the main cards, all the UFC fight cards for the whole year. 7 p.m. main card on Big ESPN. Anyway, Cody, you want to start with the main event, sir? It's a big one. This is really all there is to talk about on this card. No disrespect to the other fighters. Featherweight division, Calvin Kattar, Giga Chikadze. Big fight here. Number 5 versus number 8. Giga, number 8, trying to steal the number 5 like Bully did a month ago, huh? Wonder Boy. Oh, and, while we're on that subject of Bully absolutely dominating that fight, I just had it in my head. I really enjoyed watching that co-main event on December 18th. Sorry. Main event. So Kattar hasn't fought since that real tough loss to Holloway. That was January of last year. Chikadze looks like a future champ to me. He's a favorite here at number 8. He actually would prefer the title shot that's going to the Korean Zombie, but that's another topic. So this division actually has gotten really interesting for me over the last short while, whereas before I was sort of saying it was lean. I think this division is pretty interesting. Who you got in the main event this weekend, Bully?
Well, hey, before Bully gets into this, can I just jump in? Were you guys surprised that the UFC booked Korean Zombie before this fight happened? Like, had they just waited 5 days and Giga has a spinning wheel kick knockout? Like, what do you guys think about that?
For me, it was obviously, I think Dana came out today and said, like, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. And whoa, who knows if Giga would have won or that. We got to get fights going right away. It's a train. We got to keep the train moving. But honestly, for me, it was more so, I thought Cejudo made the most sense. I thought Cejudo was the fight to make. Like before it was like, well, you don't want to skip in line in front of all these guys, but there's not really one clear cut number 1 contender unless Giga would have won this weekend. But there's not one clear cut contender. You're like, all right, this guy steps in. If it happens at 170, there's 3 or 4 guys that can step in right away, and they all deserve the title shot. When it happens at 45, it's like, well, he already beat this guy. He already beat this guy. This guy's 1-1. This guy hasn't fought in 2 years. And I don't think Zombie really. I mean, obviously he's a fun name. He's a big name. But he just lost a fight before this pretty handily to Brian Ortega. And we saw what Volkanovski did to Ortega. I mean, it was a good fight, but still Volkanovski just pretty handedly beat him. To me, also, I would have liked Yair. I think Yair would have been a fun fight.
Even off a loss, I agree. That fight was bananas.
Look who he lost to. He lost to Max Holloway, and it was a very fun fight. And he knocked out Korean Zombie. And I know Josh Emmett was calling for the fight. He knocked out Jeremy Stevens, who knocked out Josh Emmett. So that's why I put Yair in there. Everybody's like, oh, you're being favoritism. I'm like, no. He gave Max Holloway one of the best fights he had. Max Holloway had to shoot on him. When does Max Holloway ever shoot on anybody? So it just shows how good or how difficult Yair is to fight.
All great stuff there. And Emmett with 4 wins in a row. There's a lot of arguments, and that's to your point. It's like Chimaev fights Burns at 2 and beats Burns. What happens there? You never know when you're going to get your shot. Cejudo's fascinating to me. Who knows what's going on in the background that could prevent something like that from actually materializing. But I hear you on Yair. I don't think you would have had too many people disputing it had it actually happened.
Right. I think stylistically that would have been fun. And I think he's turning a little bit heel where he's talking trash now. He's learning more English words besides swear words. I'm liking this Yair, and every single when is the last time he's been in a boring fight? Like he's only been dominated by Frankie Edgar, but that was very early on in his career. But his last 4 or 5 fights, he doesn't fight a lot, but when he does fight, it's exciting.
Good stuff there, Bully. So who's the pick? The main event.
I tweeted out huge fight news. Make sure you tune into the show. So whoever tuned in, I appreciate you guys. This was a huge fight right here. Calvin Kattar against Giga. I think it's a great fight. So this is the fight I was talking about on Twitter, guys. I apologize, but I wanted to get to viewers.
This is it.
But I think this is a great fight, honestly. And even if you think about it, Calvin Kattar, I mean, he's only lost to Holloway. And if he would have beat Holloway that one time, he would have probably got the title shot next after that. So, he's still I mean, a lot of people are looking past him when they're saying, oh, what if Giga deserves the title shot? Giga deserves the title shot. But he got to go through a hard guy in Calvin. And I think he did a very good job and he was very smart and taking the time off after that loss to Holloway, to get everything back right, get your body back to normal and everything like that. And I think that this is the right amount of time he took off. Stylistically, though, I just think that Giga is a bad matchup for a lot of these guys. He throws very good kicks, very strong, and his grappling is getting better. So I just think that Calvin, who's more of a boxer, if Giga stays on the outside, picks him apart a little bit with the kicks, Calvin's doesn't really shoot on you a lot. He usually hurts guys with his hands. So I think that Giga is very smart with the way he uses his distance, uses his kicks, stays long. I think that he's going to end up not finishing Calvin, but I think that he'll outpointing him for 5 rounds.
Yeah, I agree. James Krause saw this going some distance. Kattar is a tough out. And certainly it would be an amazing bounce back if Kattar could get this done.
Yeah, I mean, if Max Holloway didn't finish Kattar with the way that he was hitting him so much in that fight, I'm like, I don't think there's anybody that's going to be finishing Kattar unless they put him to sleep with anything. I mean, it could happen, but like Giga's liver kick, when he hits you there, the body shuts down. There's really nothing you can do no matter how tough you are. Like Calvin could take 200 punches to the head, but a good liver kick, like it doesn't just, I don't care how tough you are. You can put you out.
I hear you. So moving on, flyweight division. Brandon Royval, Rogerio Bontorin. So close fight here. Royval, my brother loves this kid. He's lost 2 straight. Granted, Moreno and Pantoja, not any slouches. But anyway, so the Brazilian Bontorin, certainly another tough test here. Close fight on paper. Does Royval get off the schneid, or you like the Brazilian here?
I mean, I love Royval. Royval is one of the favorite fighters to watch. His style is just so crazy, so much chaos, and a lot of guys can't deal with that style. Like you said, sometimes he gets a little bit too wild, and he puts himself in bad position, as we saw with his last fight, just by overdoing it a little bit. But I think he has power. I think that this is a good bounce back fight for him. I think that he can end up finishing this fight just because that division is there's a lot of good guys there, but I think Royval is one of the guys that can be a future champion just because he just needs to slow stuff down a little bit and be more calm instead of chaotic.
It'd be interesting to see how he approaches this one. I have a feeling you may see a different approach in there mentally. Anyway, moving to your division, welterweight division, Court McGee, Brahimaj. Give me a pronunciation there. You know how to pronounce that last name?
Brahimaj. I don't know.
All right. It's funny. It's interesting. They were talking about Royval. That is how you pronounce Royval. But John was talking about the simple names that are hard to pronounce, And for a while, a bunch of cats were being allowed to say Belal, right? It's Belal. And so moving to Belal, right? You just got to practice it. But it's gotten John a little bit. It's gotten John. I'm checking him. But bottom line, he just says you got to practice it. So if you walk around saying Belal all day, you're not going to say
good at it. Yeah.
You're not going to say Belal anymore. It's going to become Belal to you, just like your family. Anyway, who you got?
Welterweight. Blahal.
What's up, Cody?
It's Blahal. That's fine.
Well, and Cody was saying before you came on, Bully, that that Chael was saying something else, calling you Blahal. It's like if Chael wants to call you Blahal, granted he should go Muhammad, but if he wants to call you Blahal, as long as he's talking about you, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll keep that as long as the headlines and his page just keep saying that. He got 1 million followers on YouTube, so yeah, keep saying my name, Uncle Chael.
Exactly. Welterweight division, pick 'em fight, make us some money here.
I mean, we saw Ramiz's last fight look very good. Even in his debut, he was looking good. Yep. Your ear just falls off. Your ear falls off. There's nothing you can do about it. But he went against somebody tough. He went against Max Griffin. And it was one of those things where it's like that was a hard debut, and it just shows that what the UFC believes in him. The matchmakers believe that he is a good fighter. Like he's not one of those guys you need to really build up. And you're getting another guy as your third fight, Court McGee, who's been a veteran in the game for a while, and he's fought a lot of these guys, and he's a tough veteran. But I think that Ramiz is just young and hungry. We saw his last fight. We saw him go out there, put the guy to sleep. And I think that the momentum is going to push through to this fight. I think that he's just younger, faster. I think he's going to be stronger and a better grappler than Court. But, Court's that dog. Court just has that in him where he doesn't break. There's not a lot of guys. I don't think he's been finished in the UFC. He's a hard guy to finish, a hard guy to break. And he's a guy that's going to stay in your face for 15 minutes. So Ramiz just got to be smart. Ramiz is one of the guys, he tries to explode on you, tries to always go for the finish. And sometimes you get tired from doing that type of thing. But after talking with them, speaking with them, I know that he's in a good place right now. He understands what he needs to do. I think that he's going to go out there, keep the momentum going. And I think he's going to win this fight for sure.
So Saturday for you, will you get all your training in so you can sit down and watch the prelims? Or are you going to be bouncing around with the cell phone watching and then settle in for the main event? Like, what's your Saturday like? You don't got children running around.
No, this Saturday, after 4 weeks off, it's gonna be like just like a pay-per-view night for me. I'm like, I've been waiting for this Saturday. It's big, right? I'm like, dude, I was like, man, all right, 4 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm marking the calendar. I'm like, fights are back. So
that's why Kayla has to come to the big show. No disrespect, but it's not that, you know what I mean? That's we're talking about the Ultimate Fighting Championship. There will be MMA fights every weekend here and there, but it's all about the Ultimate Fighting Championship, baby. It just is. Sorry.
That is truth. When you bring it up like that, when you put it that way,
we all can't wait. Hey, Cody, you think Kattar gets it done or what, kid? Is your mic hot?
Yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth on this. I think it's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Tough matchup all around.
I just hope that Giga's not one of those guys that's just like looking past him, because obviously Giga's when I've seen Giga when I fought Maya and Phoenix, he was there and he was just like, oh brother, we're gonna show these guys that we're here, we're gonna be the next ones in line, and like you could see it, like he believes it. And as we saw with Juliana Pena, when you believe you're gonna be a champion, self-belief is one big thing. And for Giga, I don't know if it's one of those where the whole thing that the 145 got pulled out this week, I don't know if it distracted him a little bit. Sometimes it throws you off when you have a little distraction like that. Maybe you're wondering, oh, now I got to put extra pressure on myself to win this fight to get the next title shot. So I actually happy that they end up booking Korean Zombie now, because now he doesn't have that extra pressure on him. Now it's just like, all right, we got to win this fight. It's not like I got to win this fight pretty handily so they give me the title fight next, because there's an opening there and I have to do it. So you don't have that extra pressure on you. You just go out there, you win, and you're back on track.
Well, I do think it's a fight where the cage size comes into play. Giga would be far better off with a 30-footer than a 25-footer, in my opinion.
That's a good point too. I mean, but it just depends on how Calvin's going to come at him. Is Calvin going to come at him just trying to box in the pocket? Because Giga can box too, but Giga is very smart with his footwork, very smart with his side kicks, very smart with his front kicks, and Calvin's not going to shoot on you. Like there's a difference with the smaller cage. I think it really affects grapplers and guys that are going to push you to the fence. I don't think Calvin's really going to come with that type of style, but you never know. I mean, he's been off for a while, so when you're off for a while, you bring in new tools, you bring in new things. So maybe he did do a little more grappling. Maybe now he knows that he has to add that to his game. When you lose a fight like that to Max Holloway, it's like all I had was a plan A. My plan A was just boxing. So now you realize, like, these top guys, you can't come in there with one plan. These top guys, these top contenders, these champions, you got to have a plan A, plan B, plan C. And to do those things, you have to train those things, you have to drill those things. So maybe that time off, as we saw with Ortega when he came back to fight Zombie after 2 years off after losing to Holloway, he was a whole different fighter and he looked way better. So maybe we'll see that with Calvin. And everybody's looking past you. So you have that chip on your shoulder, like nobody brought my name up when they were talking about a title fight. Right. Who did I lose? Right. So I lost to Max Holloway, who's the uncrowned champion. So maybe I should get that title shot next. Maybe I'm gonna go out there and prove to you that I'm still a contender. I'm still a champion.
And when you talk about sort of deserving, and we would have liked to see Yair or whoever, but you then think about a guy like Ige who just fought Korean Zombie a couple fights ago and how the opportunities, right? You win a couple fights in a row, you never know. Ige, our boy, I don't even know if he's ranked. I mean, I know he's ranked, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You were always a couple degrees away, just like remember the name going unranked in a year to number 5. It's like whatever your next fight is, no more, one more and then the belt. But you know what
that's what I say. I'm like, literally, whatever my next fight is, it's going to be one more. I get this win, I'm getting a title shot next. That's no matter who it is, what it is.
Exactly. 2, 4, 11. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, along that same vibe, so I put together a little thing for you guys here, a little turn the game show on your head. I sent you an article that was top 10 fights to make for 2022. So I revised it to a top 8. And I'm going to have you guys pick it and talk a little bit about this in the last, 10, 15 minutes here with this show.
Can I make one comment?
What is that?
I've seen all these lists out there, all these lists. Nobody wants to see Belal Muhammad fight anyone particular. Just saying. I'm not trying. Look, I'm just giving maybe bulletin board material, but it's like I've seen multiple lists of top fights to make for 2022. They'll want to see Belal Muhammad when he's finishing one of these other people that they want to see fight. Let's go ahead. Sorry.
Well, so this is not. It's not a twist. Like this isn't 8 Belal Muhammad fights.
No, it's not.
This is a regular This
That
is
would have
regular
been better.
list, so give me so Jay, you can go first. You showed up first, so you can go
just
first.
pick a number.
Yeah. Well, no, like guess the fight.
Oh, okay.
I gave you
Right.
the list. Give me one of them off the list.
Oh, one of the main. Oh, okay. So just pick a fight. Two. All right. I gotta say Ngannou, John Jones.
Okay. So I have a different one. John Jones versus any heavyweight. Well, so what heavyweight would you guys most like to see John Jones fight in 2022?
Bully.
I mean, I want to see John Jones and Ngannou. I think that they're going back and forth. I think it would be a fun fight, and to see how John Jones would look at heavyweight against a guy like Francis, who just has that one punch power, the baddest man on the planet. I think that's the fight that you got to make. And I think that's the fight that most people will be excited for.
And if Gon wins, there's almost a part of me that would almost rather see John Jones and Ngannou, or make more sense if Gon is the champ, right? It's granted John Jones might fight for the title right away, but Cody, it's interesting you say any heavyweight as I read it just like that. I cannot wait to see this guy fight in the heavyweight division. I'm fascinated by both of his brothers being football players. I'm fascinated to see what his legs really look like in there. But for me, it's hard not to say if you have me pick to pick someone different. That's hard for me. But what I would like to see is him fight once before the title. If you want to know the truth.
Yeah, I want to see him like get his feet wet at one heavyweight, because you don't know how your body's going to react. You don't know how slow you're going to be. It's a different type of power you're going to be hit with. I know you can train with heavyweights, you can get spar with heavyweights, but sparring with heavyweights is different than actually fighting guys. Like I tell people, it's a different speed that you're going to go at inside the octagon.
So I was thinking like Stipe. I think Stipe is a great matchup to start with. Good fight for Stipe. Pay him headline somewhere.
I hear you.
I like that one too.
Okay, so you're up next, Bully. Give me a guess on top.
I'm going to go McGregor Diaz.
All right, so that one came in number 4. McGregor versus Diaz 3. So who do you think would be the favorite in that fight, Bully?
I mean, I think McGregor would probably be the favorite in that fight, just because of his power. But he would be the favorite. But I think Nate Diaz would win. I think that just Nate Diaz's style is just bad for McGregor. Nate Diaz can take a punch and he's going to stay in your face and press you. And we know McGregor has no gas tank at all. So I think that Diaz would kind of go like the first fight. Or, I mean, the second fight, I thought Diaz actually won. But I think that he can still end up breaking him.
I agree completely.
What's that? Hey, I'm asking to Phil so I can find a line on it.
I got to be honest, man. These like fights, these entertainment fights are just, you're not going to get me to chomp a lot about them. I'm not that.
Minus
I'm just
300 against Tony Ferguson.
If Nate Diaz is fighting Belal Muhammad, I'm interested. I'm not like these two. Yeah. Am I going to pay for it? Of course. But with respect, I just don't really. I don't care. It's not in a division. It's not. I don't care that much. If you want,
when you go back to now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like, Leon Edwards gets his next title fight 100%. So it's like the last two guys to beat Nate Diaz both got a title shot. Masvidal beat him and he got a title shot, and freaking Leon beat him and he gets a title shot. Like, is Nate Diaz the number 1 contender at 170? Like, this doesn't make no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. At least Chimaev has a ranking now and is at least there. Anyway.
Well, and I did hear, like, I was listening to John Morgan's podcast, MMA Roadshow, and he was saying that he got invited to join the UFC rankings panel along with like a couple of other MMA junkie guys. So, hey, maybe there's some changes, guys. Maybe new changes coming to these rankings that they'll finally make sense. I mean, I'm not hopeful, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll ever make sense.
Okay, so the next fight, I'm not going to make you guess it because it wasn't on this list. But so would you want to see Conor versus Nate next? Like when Conor comes back off the broken leg and cocaine?
I think that he'd have to. Like, he needs to stop thinking that he's going to be fighting for the title again soon. He needs to stop thinking that he's a champion. I think that he needs to fight guys like a Nate Diaz, get a couple wins under his belt, get comfortable back in the cage again. Because, I mean, he lost to Poirier twice. Poirier's like, he's a guy that's been active, a guy that's hungry for the belt. Like Conor, I don't think Conor's hungry for the belt anymore. He's hungry for money, and he's going to get money by fighting a Nate Diaz.
Yeah. And to answer your question, yeah, I think that makes sense coming back, because I certainly don't talk to me about Conor McGregor coming back and fighting for the title, please.
At all.
Does it make more sense than number 7 on this list, McGregor versus Poirier 4?
That doesn't make sense to me at all.
No, I mean, dude, put the money in Paulie Felder's pocket. Let Paul Felder come back and fight McGregor. You know?
That honestly, that would be a fun fight to me. I think that fight makes a lot of sense.
I think
he's a guy that will stand and bang with Conor. He's a tough guy. He's never in a boring fight. He's not going to wrestle Conor. And it's a matchup-wise, stylistic-wise, it's a good fight for both of them. And they're both big names. They both could sell. They're both Irish. Let's get it.
Right? Exactly. But I don't even know what to think about McGregor. I'd love to see him come back and be durable and win some fights. I just don't even know what to expect.
Like I said, I just don't think he has that hunger in him. Like you could fake it. You could sit there and talk the talk, but like even his trash talk, like he doesn't have that same confidence, that same aura about him when he comes back at press conference or anything like that. You could tell like there is a hungry Conor McGregor from the old days, the Master of Garden days, and then there's this new Conor where it's like I'm trying to reach for what I used to be, but I'm not there. I don't have it.
I hear you.
Deep.
What's next?
Just deep. I don't know. Who is the last one to guess? But Jay, give me a guess.
A guess of one of these fights.
Yeah.
Probably Usman Chimaev, but
No,
not
on this list.
Good.
There's only one welterweight.
This is a better list.
There's only one welterweight fight on this list, and it does not involve Belal or a champion. It's already booked as well.
Yeah, so Masvidal Covington, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that one just for the fact that it's going to be headlining non-pay-per-view. Is the trash talk real? Probably not.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't know if it's a fake thing. Is it a fake drama or not fake drama? Like, I wonder.
So I saw Dean Thomas say, like, it's not like Kobe has to like use back entrances. Used to have to like use back entrances at ATT, and he'd text and be like, "Yo, we're like so and so here." Like, just wouldn't come by if like any drama was to be stirred up. And Masvidal like got the cops called on him because he used to like frequent the places where Kobe would go. So I think maybe for Masvidal, it's really Kobe like took it too far, and just now he's like got to eat his words or. So I don't know, maybe, but then at the end of the day, the Kobe Usman Mary Liotta thing, it's like, okay, well, all of that was fake. So like, what else isn't fake? I've heard he's like the nicest guy ever.
Kobe?
Yeah. Like behind closed door, but at a certain point you can't say the things that he says and still claim that. So.
Well, Belal, when you talk about Robert Whittaker and earning his way back, right? To me, interestingly enough, this Masvidal Covington really is like a title eliminator. Covington, if he wants to do what Whittaker didn't earn his way back after losing twice, he's got to win. He's got to put together a little streak. And for me, George sitting at number 6, right below Muhammad, George Masvidal, you better win this fight if you want to climb back. So to me, loser of this fight is not in the conversation. In terms of the championship belt.
And hype-wise, too. Like, for Masvidal, your brand is built up so much. Like, they're putting it as a main event of pay-per-view because they know that you're going to sell. And it's like, kind of like with the McGregor thing where it's like, well, when you lose 2, 3, 4 in a row, it's like, are the fans really going to keep wanting to pay to watch you? Like, I know he has a lot of stuff going on outside of the UFC with his, liquor and his own show. So it's like, do you start losing those sponsors and those endorsement deals when you're losing in the octagon? Like, this is the reason people are watching you, because they like to see you win. They like to see you land those flying knees and get knockouts. But if you're going in there, you're getting out wrestled by Usman, then you're getting knocked out by Usman, then Kobe comes in there, out wrestles you. You have a lot to lose in this fight, and it's a tough matchup. So I respect him for taking the matchup because stylistically, it's still a tough matchup for him. So that tells me that he either really hates Kobe or he really wants to compete for this belt again.
I mean, is that not the risk for both fighters as well? Because like, if Kobe goes out there and has to play it safe and like dominant wrestle George for 5 rounds, then like, can you sell a Covington Usman, rematch? Like,
I think Kobe, if Kobe would have to win at least 3.
I think
nominally
so
to fight for the title again,
and beat somebody that plays his style too. Like try and fight a Belal Muhammad and lose, but
exactly like somebody with that, like literally, if you're looking at it, he beat Woodley and then he got the title shot again. So like, there's really nothing there. If he beats Masvidal, it's going to be by out wrestling him. He's not going to outstrike him. So it's like, we're already expecting that already.
I like Covington versus Sean Brady. That's a good fight.
Yeah, but I think that Sean Brady's also one of those guys that's out here trying to pick and choose his fights. Like, oh, let me get Wonder Boy next. And it's like, You're undefeated. Why don't you be a man and try to call out Khamzat? Like, man up.
Right.
Like you don't say none of these toughest guys' names, but you want to just be like, oh, well, these last two guys out wrestled them. So my style, I think I could out wrestle them as well. Seriously, he gets annoying. I know that's Paul Felder's boy.
So Belal, what fight do you want to see in 2022?
I want to see Max Holloway fight Volkanovski.
Volk versus Holloway.
Yeah, and I think that Max, like their fights have been so good, so close, and honestly, I'm just a huge Max Holloway fan. I want to see him with the belt around his waist again, but that's another tough one because it's like I was kind of iffy when I saw them book that fight again because I'm like, man, if Max loses, what does he do? It's like when you lose somebody 3 times and you lost to this guy 3 times in a row. It's like, all right, now I have to move up to 155. There's no point of you staying at 55. I mean 45 anymore if you lost to the champ 3 times in a row, and it's like that kills your confidence too. And you're the star of Hawaii and everything like that, and you're the go to the featherweight division, and then you lost to this guy 3 times in a row. You lose all of that hype.
It's the Hawaiian kickboxer, baby.
You got me barking about Cejudo. I hope he enters into this thing at some point this year. I'd love to see it.
What else you got
next?
Well, I'd love you to guess. So there's one fight that's already booked, one fight that is not, that involves someone Belal knows, and then a 155 fight.
Jan Sterling's got to be there.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's number 1.
That's it. That's another one of the interesting fights where it's like Aljamain got a lot riding on this fight because he goes out there and he beats Peter Yan. It's like, well, what did I tell you? I told you so. I told you I'm a real champion. And I told you all the people that were laughing at me, telling me this and that. I'm cringe. I'm this. I don't deserve this belt. Now look at me. Now I earned this belt. And he has a style to beat a guy like Yan. I just think that first fight, he just came out with a very bad game plan of trying to let it all out in the first round. So now realizing how strong Peter Yan is, how good he is with grappling, with striking, how smart he is, and how disciplined he is with his technique, you have to figure out the ways you got to figure out his weakness. And with Aljamain, his grappling is so good, he could jump on your back at any moment, as we've seen what he did with Sandhagen, where one wrong move and you lose. But you can't do that, take advantage of that if you get tired in the first round. So I think that if Aljamain comes out a little more patient, a little smart, I think that it'd be a way different fight than it was the first time.
And I think it's a gift for him to be able to watch that back with the context of even winning the belt. What a unique context. But it's also a tough thing, right? It's like you can't deny what your eyes saw with Piotr Yan that night. And in other nights too. So I can't wait to see it, Cody. I know that's your boy. I can't wait to see it. But for you, Belal, you ain't kidding. Sterling's got it's almost like he's got 2 belts. He's got the 2 belts on this. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Can't wait though.
We got a guess on the line there.
Aljo, I think, is like plus 200.
Yeah, minus what? And Jan probably minus 250, right? Those are probably both right around.
So wider, Jan minus 320, Sterling plus 260.
Oh wow!
Wow.
And what about Kobe Masvidal? Real quick,
I think that Masvidal is probably like plus 250.
Close.
I'd say, yeah, a little less maybe, but if I had to guess, but
yeah, plus 265. Kobe minus 3.
Really?
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. See, Billy, you're not a gambler, Bully. You got a good feel for these lines.
So the other 2 on this list, Oliveira versus Justin Gaethje. I mean, the fight's got to happen. I mean, the only other thing I would like to see is Oliveira getting a Conor fight just to get the money. Like, he deserves it. But at the end of the day, this fight's got to happen. And Justin Gaethje said he's going to riot if not. And I think that's the last person you'd want to riot at your UFC headquarters, like, if that's the case.
I mean, if we're talking about 2022 here, I think I'm more excited to see Charles against one of the 2, Islam or Beneil Dariush. I think grappling wise,
good point, sir.
And striking wise, both those matchups will be a lot more exciting. I think Justin, I don't know. After seeing what Khabib did to him on the ground, he just showed me that he doesn't really have a ground game at all. And Oliveira is good everywhere. He's strong everywhere, and if he takes you down, we know what he can do to you. He can tap you out. But against Islam or against Beneil, both those guys' ground game is so good. I'd rather see one of those 2, the winner of that fight, get the title shot for sure. I think that'll be amazing.
What do you think the line, that Gaethje Oliveira line, I think would be pretty close? Or you think Oliveira?
You think so? I think Oliveira will be like minus 250, I think.
I'd certainly be favored.
Yeah,
I guess I can't get out of my head.
What was that guess?
I think minus 250
for
Charles.
Oh no, it's not that high.
Really?
Closer. Which I would say, maybe minus 170.
Minus 170 plus 145 kickback.
Really? But that's the thing. It's like Charles finished the guy that Gaethje went to decision with. And
right, but Chandler almost finished all of it. It's like what Chandler, it could. Hey, that's why they play the games.
Yeah,
any given Sunday, baby. What's number 2?
I mean, I think you know what number 2 is. Do you, Bully?
What weight class?
Defense. To go out and prove why Valley Striking is the best striking in America.
And I'm excited for that one too. It's like, when you're a girl like that, you beat the GOAT, you don't get the credit you deserve. Like, it's always like, well, she had a bad night. She had a wrong night. But it's like, for Juliana, she earned that win. She broke her. It's not like she went out there, she hit her with a lucky punch. She didn't catch her with a lucky leg lock or anything like that. She went out there, she literally broke the GOAT. She stood in her face. She went toe-to-toe with her. She took her best punches. She gave her best punches. And Amanda Nunes saw that she wasn't going to back down. Amanda Nunes saw that she was still in her face the whole time. Amanda Nunes fell to the ground, and Amanda Nunes gave up. And when you do that type of thing, there's a difference there. There's like, when you get knocked out and you're like, you get a rematch, you're like, all right, well, I got caught that first fight. You can come up with excuses in your head. I got caught. Anybody can get caught with a punch, or you got caught with a submission. Oh, well, I shouldn't have left my arm there. I'll go back, watch tape, and not do that again. But when you go in there and you break in front of somebody, another person makes you break, another person makes you give up. When the leg lock, she didn't even throw her legs on, and she tapped out. It's like, mentally, for a lady like Nunes, who's been so dominant, and to know that she got dominated, I wonder how she's going to come back mentally. Because, I felt like she was already one of those fighters that was like already on the edge of like, how long am I going to do this for? Do I want to continue doing this? Do I still want to be this fighter? And it's like, with a kid now and everything like that, I don't think she has that same hunger now, because you're coming off a loss. Now you lost that, and you're like, man, do I still want to get back in there with a dog who's still hungry, who's still talking like, yeah, I'll give her the rematch. Give her the rematch. I want to fight Shevchenko too. It's like, whoa, relax, Juliana. Let's go to Disneyland. Let's take this belt around for a second.
Right? Exactly. But, even Juliana, a similar context with Aljo, to become champion but have adversity. I mean, you put her on the stool after that first round. She was a little shaken. And so to sort of get through that, I think she's going to be more confident, interestingly enough. She was very confident. She'll be more confident stepping in for second fight, I would think.
Yeah, to know that she stood toe-to-toe. She took her best shots. To know that, all right, now I know how to take her punches. When you're
See, look at that. Cody just posted the line. Pena 7-1, Nunes minus 1,200. I mean, I'm going to go to the window. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's crazy. Yeah, because like when you're before a fight, you're wondering, and you're like, even when I was training for Wonderboy, you're like, man, I don't want to get caught with the spinning kick. I don't want to get caught with one of his punches. You're watching his videos and you're seeing his highlight reel. And you're like, this guy does everything. But now imagine watching the GOAT and Amanda Nunes. You see her knocking out everybody. You seeing her pick girls up, slam them, stay in their guard, finish them on the ground, finish them on the feet. And you're like, man, like, where's the weakness at? What could I do differently that these other girls haven't done? Like, this girl is good, but she dominated her. This girl is good. She dominated her. She dominated Cyborg, who was undefeated for a while. You're like, you wonder. And then when you go in there, you get in the cage, you actually feel it. You feel their strength. You're like, well, she's not as strong as I thought she was. She's not as fast as I thought she was. So I think she's going to come back 20 times more confident. And especially for a girl that's already confident, I think Juliana is going to be a different fighter after this.
Yeah, most people get in the cage with Belal Muhammad. It's not thinking he's not as strong as I thought I was. It's like, damn, he's stronger than I thought he was. This guy's a bull.
That's what I tell people. I tell people really underestimate what I'm capable of. The feeling like, hey, wait, what the heck? And I'm like, his wrestling really that good? And I'm like, yeah, I have 2 years of high school wrestling. So it's not, I don't have a Division I wrestling. I don't have a black belt, 10 stripes, but I do have a black belt in fighting. And I know how to fight. And I know how to do everything.
That a boy. So next week we'll be back, regular time, 8:30 Thursday night, prepping for 2 championship fights, heavyweights, and then Moreno Figueiredo round 3. I'll be in the building. I'm going to tag along with John Anik, I think, for this one.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, keeping some company on the road. So yeah, so it should be
all right.
interesting. But so I'll be coming at you from an Anaheim next week. I think you'll be in Chi-Town, I assume, still.
Yeah, it's cool. We'll be over here in the cold. No big deal.
Good. Well, maybe we'll have a fight announced, as we're always chomping for that. But anyway, good to be back with y'all. And remember the show, we're going to keep it rolling 2022 for our director, Cody Merrow, and the esteemed 5th ranked welterweight, Belal Muhammad. I'm Jason Anik. Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Later.